Hey everyone, welcome to Sacred Lotus Yoga. I'm Sarah and thank you for joining me for today's awakening yoga practice. So we're going to jump straight into it today. So when you're ready, come meet me towards the back of the mat and we'll be sitting on our heels, sitting with the knees about a hip width distance apart. And if you have any issues at all with your hips or with the heels, you can always place a blanket or a cushion in between the hips and the heels. Sitting up nice and tall to begin with. We're going to begin by inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. So you want to make sure that we're not flaring our ribs, so try and keep your ribs hugging in. As we inhale, we reach up, taking hold of all fingers, interlace the fingers, extending the index finger and your thumb. Sitting up nice and tall, lift and lengthen through the arms. So nice, fully engaged, active arms. Finding length through the sides of the body. Inhale, see if you can sit up a little bit taller, a little bit higher. When you're ready, in your next exhale, just begin to gently bend and draw the arms towards the right. Feeling a nice deep opening through the left side of the body. Keeping the arms really locked and engaged. Long straight arms, open through the chest, so drawing the right shoulder forward. Keep a nice open front side of the body. Breathing deep into the left lung, feeling the expansion and the contraction with each breath. I'll be working through really deep, strong poses for today's class. We work on awakening and opening up the body. Inhale. Exhale, gently come back to center. Now we'll take it over to the next side. See if you can sit up and a little bit higher. If you can lift the arms, reach and extend even further up. And exhale, gently come over to the left. Nice straight arms, hugging in towards the ears. Noticing how this side feels from the last. Drawing that left shoulder a little bit more forward. As we open through the front of the body. Lower belly hugging in. And inhale back to center. And we'll take it either side once again. Lift and lengthen through the arms. Exhale, coming over to the right. Right shoulder comes forward. Straight arms, pointing the fingers. See if you can go even deeper. Maybe you can open up even more through the left side of the body. Maybe you can straighten the arms a little bit more. Inhale, come back to center. Last side, lift and lengthen. Exhale, begin to come over to the left. Left shoulder draws forward. Straight arms. Strong, engaged body. Can you go deeper? Can you open up even more? Last breath. Inhale, gently coming back up. Lift and lengthen, keep the arms as they are. And begin to hinge forward from the hips. Keeping the arms locked and engaged. Begin to draw the fingers down towards the mat. Resting down into a child's pose. Maybe allowing the forehead to rest onto the mat. Pointing the fingers down onto the mat. So we're keeping our wrist and our forearms lifting up away from the ground. Staying with those nice active arms. Drawing the shoulder blades open. Feeling that space through the back body. allowing the hips to gently release and open, and keeping your breath long and steady. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And today's class will be a little bit stronger as we'll hold our poses for a few breaths more than we normally do. Just allow us to awaken through the muscles, through the connective tissues and fascia. It also allows us the time and the space to connect with our breath, waken up the mind. And inhale, gently come back up, lifting, keeping the arms as they are, stretching up. And release the arms, release the grip, open the arms really wide. Draw them behind your back, interlace your fingers behind your sacrum as you begin to press your knuckles down towards your feet. Rolling your shoulder blades back and open. Again, watch the ribs, make sure that you're not flaring, keeping them hugged in. By doing so, you'll engage the core, supporting your lower spine. So you want to work on opening through the chest, opening deeply into the shoulders, keeping the gaze set in front of you, not straining the neck, actively pressing your knuckles down towards the ground. See if you can lengthen even more. Trying to press the palms together. That'll make it even stronger into your arms. And we'll release the grip. Begin to extend the arms out as you close the arms together. Allow the spine to round as you drop the gaze. Press the palms together. So you'll begin to feel the shoulder blades open up, peeling away from each other. Press the hands even harder. And inhale, lift the hands back up and overhead. Draw the arms down to heart center into prayer. Lovely. From here, make our way into tabletop. So over to hands and knees, making sure our wrists are in line under our shoulders and our knees are in line under our hips. It's going to begin to extend opposite arm and opposite leg. So take a moment, find your support, find your balance. Knees are hip-width distance apart, wrists in line under the shoulders, making sure we're not collapsing into the lower back, but we're engaging through our core. So gently hugging the lower belly in. Begin to reach the right arm away from you and begin to reach the left leg. So you want to keep the left foot flexed. You want to be peeling your toes under and we're pressing through the heel. So we're not pointing the left toes back. The toes should be pointing down towards the mat. The gaze can be looking down towards the mat, maybe up towards the top of the mat, but we're not looking forward. We want to keep our spine nice and neutral. I'm going to be holding here for a few breaths. Let's begin to connect with each inhale and each exhale. Keeping a strong body. Allowing the body to shake. Connecting with it. Feeling it wake up. Notice what you notice. Notice how it feels. Taking one last breath and release back down. So we'll make our way straight into the second side. Just making sure you're spreading all 5 fingertips nice and wide. Find your stability, find your balance. Begin to extend through the left arm and extend through the right leg. Pressing into the heel. Find your balance. Hugging the lower belly in. Lift and lengthen. Really stretching, find more active movement just by reaching. Stay with your breath. Hug the lower belly in. pressing the mat away from you. Remember to breathe. And lovely, release. Perfect. From here, we're going to make our way into our first downward facing dog. So your shoulders should be feeling a little bit more warmed up. So we're going to work deeper into our hips. So begin to tuck your toes under, hover your knees away from the mat as you send your hips towards the back of the room. And you can begin to shift the weight into one heel at a time, bending into opposite knee. Pedal out through the legs, waking up the body, the hips. Try to keep the movement slow and soft. Maybe shaking your head left and right, making sure you're holding no tension in the neck. And find a moment in stillness as you press the body towards the back of the room. Shoulder blades away from the ears. And from here, after your next exhale, begin to float the body forward through to plank. You're going to float the body forward so your shoulders come in line over your wrists and you're pressing your heels towards the back of the room. Still up on the toes, pressing the body away from the mat. You can always drop the knees down onto the mat, just for a supported plank. That's a little bit more comfortable for you today. I'm going to stay here for a few breaths. So just hold and connect with your breath. Notice if the body begins to shake. Pressing the mat away from you, really work into the shoulders. We don't want to collapse into our shoulders, we want to be pressing away. Nice strong arms. Hugging the lower belly in. Engage the core. Last breath. Lovely. Drop the knees down to the mat. Untuck the toes and we'll gently roll the shoulder blades back as you softly come down, chin and then chest, down onto the mat. Just begin to make sure you have enough space out in front of you. So you can gently release, forehead down to the mat, and take a breath. Walk the hands in line with the shoulders, and just begin to hug the elbows in towards the body. We're going to make our way into Cobra from here. Let's make sure your hands are in line with the shoulders. Elbows are hugged into the body, really glued into the body. Press your pelvis down onto the mat. So you begin to tuck under the tailbone. Inhale, begin to lift the chest and the chin away from the mat, pressing down through the pelvis. Looking forward, hugging the lower belly in. Legs should be really active, really switched on. Finding your breath. And softly come back down. So we'll do that once again. So peeling the shoulder blades in. So you should feel like they're squeezing in towards each other. Down away from the ears. Elbows are tucked in. And you're not pressing down too hard on the hands. They're just there as a gentle guide. Tuck the tailbone under. Engage the legs. Inhale. Exhale, coming up to Cobra. Peeling the upper body away from the mat. Elbows are still hugging in. Shoulders are down away from the ears. And breathe. See if you can go a little bit higher. And softly and gently release. You can bring your hands out in front of you. Make a little pillow, placing one hand on top of the other. Rest your forehead down onto the mat. And just take a breath. Finding some softness and some stillness. Just before we move to the next part of the class. Gently making your way back up. We're going to bring our hands out in front of us once again and tuck our toes under. So making sure you're pressing back through the heels. Bring your hands up as if you're about to come to Sphinx pose. We're going to plant our palms together. We want to keep our elbows roughly as wide as your shoulders. So you want them roughly in line under your shoulders. If you're not quite sure, you can always take hold of opposite elbow, and that's roughly where you want to be. So palms touch, toes tuck under. Begin to peel the lower belly in as you tuck the pelvis under. We're making our way to forearm plank from here, so if you know what you're doing, you can go straight into it. Otherwise, pressing down into the forearms. Keep your gaze up to the fingertips, tuck the pelvis under, and begin to lift the lower body away from the mat. Keeping the lower belly hugged in, protect your spine, pressing into the hands, pressing up into the shoulders, pressing back through the heels. You can always drop the knees here if you need to. Stay with your breath. Such a lovely, strong pose to waken everything up. It's working everywhere. It's full engagement. Last breath. If your body's beginning to shake, that's good. It means it's really working. And gently release the knees first. And tuck the toes, drop the belly down. Release the arms so you can plant both hands down onto the mat. Loop the shoulder blades back, lift and lengthen through the chest. Coming into Sphinx. Open the heart space forward, close the eyes. Allow the lower back, the lower belly to soften. Staying with our arms in Sphinx, I'm going to come in to a side forearm plank from here. So you're going to draw your right fingertips to point over towards the left side of the mat. Use your left hand to press into the mat so you can bring yourself up onto the right side of the body. So we want to keep our feet flexed so our toes are pointing back towards us and our body is in one nice straight line. Keeping the lower belly hugged in, that'll help support you when you come up into the pose. So you can either stay here if you want to just work on opening through the side of the body, or to take it deeper, bring the left hand down and begin to lift the side body away from the mat. A few different variations. If this feels a little bit too difficult, you can always step the top leg in front of you. You can always drop down onto the bottom knee or stay up. And wherever you are, lift and lengthen through the left arm. Gaze can look down to the front or up to the arm. Notice how it feels, how awake and alive the body is. Last breath. And release. Lovely, good job. Coming back down onto your belly. Planting both hands back on the mat. And we'll open up through Sphinx. Allow yourself to catch your breath. To reconnect. Using this moment to slow it all down. And then we'll take it to the opposite side. So you want to point your left fingertips over to the right side of the mat, rolling onto the left hip, flexing the toes back, making sure your elbows in line under your shoulder, planting the right hand down, begin to lift the hips. You know what to do. Reach through the right fingertips, opening up. Really strong bodies here. Really waking everything up. Breathing the day. Breathing our body. Finding our breath. Don't forget to breathe. You'll hold the pose much longer if you stay with your breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. Lovely. Bring it all back down through the Sphinx. Shoulders in line over the elbows. Palms touch this time. Lift and lengthen. And exhale, just allow the belly to soften. Allow the head to hang heavy. Allowing the upper body to fall between the shoulder blades. And your last breath. We'll begin to come out of this pose, and from here we're going to make our way onto our back. You can press your hands up, cross at the ankles. If you want to walk through the legs, you can always just come straight down to lying flat on your back, if that's a little bit easier for you. So once you're down, make sure that your shoulder blades are snugged under the body. Sometimes you might find it's quite uncomfortable just to lie flat on your back. So just try and adjust. Try to find a little bit of ease. Hug both knees into the belly, in towards the body. Maybe rocking side to side, forward and back. Just opening through the hips, through the lower back. We're going to plant the left foot down onto the mat, and we're going to squeeze the right knee in towards the belly. Now we're going to begin to take hold of the right knee with the right hand and drop the knee over to the right. We're going to begin to squeeze that knee up and into the shoulder blade. We want to try and keep it away from the body. So we're not squeezing directly into the chest, but we're opening up through the hips. So you're allowing the right knee to drop to the right and squeezing it in. You can use both hands here. You can extend the left leg long on the mat, or keep the foot planted. If your left leg is long on the mat, flex the foot and try ground the leg down onto the mat. Inhale, see if you can draw the knee closer in. Exhale, see if you can release any tension. Draw the right knee back to center, and we'll switch. You can place the right foot down onto the mat and begin to draw the left knee up towards the chest. Like we did on the other side, hug this knee in towards the body first. Just take a moment to find how that feels. Notice the hips. If you feel any sharp pains, see if you can back off a little bit. You should never feel uncomfortable. Just a deep opening. No sharp twinges, no pain. When you're ready, we're going to drop the left knee over to the left shoulder. Maybe extend the right leg long. If you do, peel the toes back, flex the foot. Try and press the calf muscle down onto the ground. Draw the left knee in and up towards the shoulder, away from the rib cage. Shoulders are relaxed down your back, down away from the ears. Gently draw the left knee back to center and hug the right knee in as well. So we're going to take a really deep hug of both legs. So cross the arms over. Maybe if you can, take hold of opposite elbow. Drawing the knees into the body. Lengthen the tailbone long on the mat. See if you can press the tailbone, imprinting it down onto the ground. Feeling each vertebrae fully printed on your mat. So you draw the knees in. Shoulders are soft on the mat. Gently tucking your chin in. Working deep into our hips while we lengthen our spine. Stay with your breath. Allow the toes to be soft. And gently release the grip. And from here, I'm just going to extend the legs long on the mat. And allow the arms to rest alongside the body, palms face up, nestle the shoulder blades underneath you. And just notice how you feel now. Notice the space you've created. Notice how alive and awake the body feels, how alert the mind has become, and how smooth and soft the breath is flowing. This is where I'm going to leave you today. And thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Namaste.